Welcome to part number 7 of the Link to the Past playthrough. And we're starting with a boss in this part. It is the first boss of the Dark World. It's some type of cat thing with a scorpion-like tail. And what you want to do with this boss is take out your hammer and chip off its mask. It may not look like you're doing anything, but multiple hammer swings in a row, or to its face, part of its mask will chip off. So you want to continue doing that until his mask falls off. Once his mask falls off, you can just hit him with your sword like normal. He has quite a few attacks. Sometimes he'll shoot out fireballs, which will split out into multiple fireballs. Other times he'll swing his tail at you. And then finally, he likes to charge at you sometimes, or pretty much all the time. He's moving for most of the battle. And I like how they put spikes in the background to stop you from going back there or something. I don't really get why. I don't know. But he's not that hard. He doesn't take that many hits to defeat. Just keep hitting him with your sword and you should be good. Grab the heart piece and a crystal will fall down. These crystals have trapped the 7 maidens inside, and you have to rescue all of them in order to do something. I don't know if the game has told you what you do with these yet, so I don't want to spoil it or anything. But this is the first maiden we rescue. I don't know if they give a name. Do they? Let's see. I don't know. I don't think they do. But there are 7 of these crystals in the Dark World, which means 7 dungeons, plus the final dungeon of the game. So, yeah, there's quite a lot of content in this game. What's there? 11 dungeons? Plus a whole bunch of side quests, looking for heart pieces. There's so much to do in this game. I love it. I don't think... It's definitely not my favorite Legend of Zelda. I think Ocarina of Time and Twilight Princess are better. But this is definitely my favorite 2D one. I guess you can call this game 2D. Or overhead. That's a better word. But right now, I'm going to refer back to the instruction manual to read some more stuff. Because I want to. And I am never doing another LP without, or a UAA plays as I call them, without the instruction manual present, because it's such a helpful guide. It tells you all kinds of stuff you need to know. If you need a name of some equipment, it's in here. It's got, at least with Super Nintendo games. With GameCube and stuff like that, there's some description, but not that much. But I'll keep it nearby. So, this part also doesn't have that much action after I kill the boss, which I just did. It's more about collecting a few items, so that means some more descriptions, and yeah. I haven't gotten to any questions yet. I don't really want to run out. I only have 2 for this playthrough. One of them's not even a question though, so... But it's definitely something that's going to take a whole video. I'll do those in a few parts or so, but I wanted to talk from the instruction manual, read from the instruction manual. I won't rant about the instruction manuals anymore. I had a whole video about that. Last video, I talked and talked and talked about instruction manuals, and I know a lot of you probably don't agree with me. I'm sure there's a bunch of you who say, I don't really care about the instruction manual, and that's okay, I understand, but I like them, especially when they're done well, like this Link to the Past one is. All the Legend of Zelda instruction manuals are done really well. I don't know about Twilight Princess, but I would have to check. What I know, the original one is Link to the Past is good, Ocarina of Time is good. They all got good stuff. And I'm going back into the first dungeon to get... there's some rupees here. There's actually a lot of rupees here. I think 200 or so, so... You only have to give up a bomb, so why not come back here? It's definitely worth it. And I need 500 rupees right now. Yes, 500. You have to buy these Zora flippers, which allow you to swim, and they cost 500 rupees. That is ridiculous. I think that's the most you're ever required to spend on a single item in Legend of Zelda history. I know Wind Waker makes you spend like 3,000 rupees on deciphering the Triforce charts. That's the stupidest thing ever. I hate Wind Waker because of that. I really don't want to play Wind Waker. I know I have to, There's something that I gotta do in Wind Waker, but that won't be for a while. But I'm gonna read a few descriptions of the sword, the shield, and the armor. So the sword. The sword has 4 potential levels of power. You can see what level your sword is currently by looking at the number next to the sword symbol on your sub-screen. Your first goal is to obtain the Master Sword, which is power level number 2. So they even tell you that you can upgrade the Master Sword, even though... I don't think it is optional. I think you need all 4 swords to defeat the final boss. But they tell you that you can upgrade the sword, which is cool. You just gotta figure out how to do it, which I don't think the game tells you how to do it, but anyways, the shield. The shield has 3 potential levels of power. Your first shield can only fend off enemies' arrows, spears, and rocks. If you improve your shield, or find a better one, you can defend yourself against different attacks. And we'll be seeing that in this video. I get the next shield, and the third shield, that won't be for a while. And finally, the armor. Oh, before that, that's the magic powder. You only use it in one location, and that's to find another upgrade for Link. Let me find the description. Here it is. Magical powder. This magical concoction has unpredictable effects on certain things. Try sprinkling it on a bush to cause a strange chemical reaction. Its effect on other living things is said to be even stranger. I've never actually tried to throw it on a bush. Can someone tell me what that does? I've never tried it, not once. I don't know why. Maybe it's because I didn't read this, but tell me what it does. I only know the one purpose for it, to get the other upgrade, but yeah, if you know what that does, please tell me. And finally, the armor. You start off by wearing a suit of green cloth, which hardly protects you at all. During your adventure, you will find the blue mail and the red mail. These suits of armor reduce damage from enemy attacks by 25% and 50% respectively. So we'll be getting some armor upgrades later. I mean, the instruction manual doesn't spoil any of this stuff. It tells you all about it. I think it's cool. And there is the Quake Medallion. And the Quake Medallion allows you to do this super attack. I think I demonstrate it right here. I hope I do. There are 3 medallions. This is the first one. Do I do it right now? I hope I do. Come on. No? No? Alright. I guess I don't do it. Although I equipped it for some reason. Or no, I do it right now. Here we go. It costs a lot of magic, but Link stabs his sword into the ground. Some purple lightning comes out. And it kills mostly every enemy on screen. It didn't kill the Zoras right there because they were partially underwater, and that doesn't affect them, but normally it kills every enemy on the screen. It's pretty useful if there's a ton of enemies on the screen that you just want to get rid of. Here it is, the Quake Medallion. If you drive your sword into the ground when you have this medallion, the earth will come to life and shake violently. Such an attack and the fear it creates are bound to affect the enemy. Yes, that's the description. And there, I bought the Zora's Flippers. And the Zora Flippers allow you to swim in deep water. That's the dark blue water that you see right next to me. You can walk on the light blue water, but you can't walk on the dark blue water. You need the Zora Flippers to swim. If you try to go into that dark blue water without the Zora Flippers, you'll fall in and then lose a little bit of health, and then you'll be transported back to where you can walk again. The Zora Flippers are required for the second dungeon of the Dark World, so you gotta raise 500 rupees, so get save up. These flippers belong to Zora the Manfish, whose domain is the wet blue yonder. Yonder? Oh, okay. They are a necessity. You cannot swim without them. If you try swimming without the flippers, you will be returned to land. To get through this adventure, you must get your feet wet, so find the flippers as soon as possible. And I think you can get them as soon as the game begins. But you won't necessarily have enough rupees to get them, so it's best to wait. And here we're at a mysterious pond. If you throw certain items in the mysterious pond, a magical fairy will give you an upgraded version of the item. So there I threw the boomerang in, and I got the magical boomerang back. the magical boomerang is just like the original boomerang, except you can throw it much farther. And I believe it's also faster. It's a nice upgrade to have. I recommend you get it. While you're here, throw in your shield. And the fairy will give you an upgraded version of the shield. I forgot what it's called. Let's see. It's red. It doesn't have a name. But now I can defend myself against fireballs, which is pretty useful for one of the bosses up ahead. Not the next one, but one coming up later. You definitely should collect that shield. It's definitely not mandatory. You don't need it, but it makes one of the bosses a lot easier. So go collect it. I believe that is the only place you can collect it. There's another mysterious pond, but I don't think if you throw your shield in there, you'll get an upgraded shield. No, you can't even access that that mysterious pond until you're much later in the game, and you need the last shield anyway to get to it. So yeah, you have to go there to upgrade your shield. If you hop in those whirlpools, you'll be transported somewhere else on the map. Don't try to go into the whirlpools that the Zoras create. They look exactly the same. Just wait for a little bit, and if that whirlpool isn't, it doesn't go away, then that means it's a transporter. If a Zora pops up, that obviously means it's not a transporter. And right now I'm going to collect a heart piece. I don't know if I mentioned this earlier, but I don't get all the heart pieces in the game. I get quite a few of them, but there's a lot of them that take a long time to get, or they're in a very obscure location. If you want to get all the heart pieces, I'm sure there's a heart piece guide on YouTube, or if not, go to one of those help websites to find a guide. I'm sure there's a guide. The first time I got all the hearts, I actually did it without a guide. Believe it or not. I was like 10 years old when I first got all of them. I was pretty proud of myself. It took me quite a long time. This pond right here, if you throw rupees in, you'll eventually get a bomb and arrow upgrade. It allows you to hold more bombs and arrows, and I believe it's up to 99. But you have to throw in a lot of rupees to get all the full upgrades. So I just throw in enough to get one upgrade. I didn't want to show me doing it for the next half hour, because that's how long it would have taken if I even had the rupees, which I don't. I only have 300 right now. But at this point, I don't think I need rupees for anything else until the very last part of the game. Although there are a few things I buy, because it is useful to buy some potions, because they're pretty handy. There's 3 types of potions. There's the green one, which only restores your magic. It's the cheapest one. There's the red one, which restores your health. It's moderately priced. And then there's the blue one, which restores your magic and your health. And that's very expensive. Only buy it when you know you're going to be facing a tough boss that requires both magic and health. For a boss that requires magic and you know you're going to take a lot of damage, buy the blue potion. It's certainly useful. But for most bosses, I like to just take the fairy, just so when I die, I get revived automatically. I don't have to look at my health and know when to use a potion or any of that. I just get revived automatically. And that's pretty much what I do for every Legend of Zelda game. I know there's some where I like to just use potions, or some that didn't even have fairies, like the original Legend of Zelda. That didn't have fairies. Well, it had fairies, but you couldn't put them in a bottle like you can now. I mean, it had the fairy which healed you if you went to a certain spot, and the ones that popped out of enemies, but you couldn't put them in a bottle. And same thing with Legend of Zelda 2. There were no bottles in that game. I haven't played Legend of Zelda 2 all that much. In fact, I've only beaten it like 3, 4, I think I've beaten it 3 times. I don't know, I just don't find it that fun. Something about it. I'm not really sure why. But I'll see you in part number 8, where we will be going to the water temple.